Let me just introduce you, Selena. Selena is our Director of Operations and Communications at the Chi Center, and she has just been a wonderful, as Sheila spoke about, having that mother, grandmother heart for all of us who work at the center and all of our members. So we're really a Chi family here. And I know those of you who are tuned in and practicing with it, you feel that we're family. We are a tribe. We like to talk about it like we have found our tribe. And that being said, it's really wonderful to kind of have a reunion with our family and in person, be able to see and hug and have actual contact with all of you. So that's what we hope to do here on the retreats. So I'll let you take it away, Selena.
Yeah, well, this is sort of an impromptu idea I had, and so we're just sort of pulling together all of our favorite things to share with you about the retreats. As you may know, if you had a chance to open your email in the last couple of days, we've had early bird pricing for our retreats this year, and today is the last day for that. So we wanted to make sure, we've just gotten so many questions coming in from people who have never been to retreat before, sharing, asking all sorts of questions about what a retreat is like. And then from many people who have been at the Chi Center and been at retreat before, like, how's it going to work this year? What are we doing differently because of the virus? Are we going to have retreats for sure? There's smoke in Santa Fe right now. How's that affecting things? So we've had all those questions. We wanted to be sure and give you an opportunity to ask them if you didn't have a chance so far, or if we didn't get back to you yet. So here's what we're going to do in this time. We're going to talk a little bit about the retreat experience, what it's like to be at retreat. And I've got lots of pictures to show of the rooms and the food and the flow of the retreat, so you can really get an experiential idea of what's going to happen. We'll talk about the retreats themselves and talk about what's different between each one, so that if you're trying to decide which one you want to schedule, put on your schedule, then you'll have an idea of what might work for you. We'll talk about the practices that we'll be engaging in each of those retreats, and a little bit about that. Now, since you're here on Chi TV and with us and in our audience, we won't go deeply into what sound healing is or wake vitality practice is, but we'll talk about how they fit into a retreat. And then we'll take your questions, and then I'm sure there'll just be stuff that we'll want to share that we didn't think of earlier, and probably also based on your questions, we'll probably have some more details to share. Okay, how's that, Sarah? Did I do it?
Perfect. Yeah. So we start with our beautiful pictures here that you put together.
Yeah, let's do that. So I put together a slideshow, and I think that both Sarah and I will just sort of talk about the slides as we share them, and our experience of why I chose this picture. Okay, so obviously this is just a picture of one set of buildings at the Chi Center. We have 5 buildings. I think that's 5 buildings maybe, plus the Compassion Dome. And the gate, this was a fun picture. We don't get that much snow in Santa Fe, so unlike you, Sheila, I don't even think I own a snow shovel anymore. So
you don't know what you're missing.
So anyway, this was one day we had a skiff of snow. It was fun. So we are at a high elevation in New Mexico. We're in the mountains at 7,200 feet. The main lodge entrance it's always lovely and beautiful with the stacked stone, and this is where you enter and register and get started with your retreat. This is our Pueblo House building. Now, as I mentioned, there's 5 buildings where people have rooms. Each room on the property where guests stay is different and unique from every other room. And this, let's see, most of them are 2 stories. Well, most of them are 2 stories, but there's a couple that are single stories. So anyway, this is the Pueblo house. Beautiful 10 rooms in this building.
Yeah, and I just want to say, what's amazing about the property here is the little detail. It's such a beautiful place to wander around, and all the rooms are unique. All the buildings are similar, but also still unique. Here's the ranch house. How do you want to tell the story about the ranch house?
Yeah, the ranch house has all sorts of stories to share about it. Used to be a restaurant way back in maybe the 50s or something called the Ranch House. That's how it came. And anyway, we've remodeled it since I think probably we've had any of our retreats. Maybe there was one retreat where the remodel was almost done. Anyway, so this is 5 beautiful rooms now with some updated bathrooms. It's different. It used to be a dorm building, but now it's separate rooms. This is the fun one. This is a building that before we owned the property, before it became the Chi Center, it was a spa. And so there's a beautiful entry, some incredible showers, a sauna and a steam room, and then 5 individual rooms in the Serenity Center. The Lofts building, so this is 7 upstairs units, and it's a little hard to tell, but this used to be the downstairs were stables for horses, and then the upstairs rooms were for the people who rode the horses. So anyway, these have been updated and converted into little individual rooms for our guests. So I wanted to give you the interior of some of the rooms so that as you are imagining yourself at the center, you can get some ideas as to what the rooms are like. So I just took a couple of pictures, samples from each building. And as we said, each room is different. And so this was in the main lodge. This is a room in the Pueblo house. The Pueblo house is the only building that has ensuite baths in each room. The rest of the property guest rooms are share baths with 1 or 2 other rooms.
Yeah. And one of the things that struck me when I first went to the Chi Center is the spaciousness of the rooms. When you stay in a hotel, it's like you barely have a place to walk between the beds and put your suitcase. And these are just so spacious. They're so beautiful. And notice the door on the left here in this picture. That's a private balcony. A lot of these rooms have beautiful little balcony areas, so you can go out and, one of the magical things about the land is the stars at night. This is a very remote location. And so imagine yourself going out on your balcony and just looking at the Milky Way at night. It's amazing. And I mean, that is not an overstatement. It's breathtaking because it's remote. There's not a lot of, what do they call it? The light interference from the city.
I think they call it light noise.
Noise. Yeah. Not a lot of noise of any sort there, and I was just speaking with Selena and I as we were talking about these upcoming retreats. And, this is really a place that you create this space to unwind. We're going to go into all the details of the things the topics and the things that, will be the focus of the retreats. But just that's the purpose of retreat. It's not a learning event seminar. It's not like you're going to, a weekend of classes or a 10-day of classes to learn something as you would for a university or for work. This is a space for unwinding and really allowing all of the tensions, and whether it's physical or emotional, and you have the spaciousness physically in the property and the silence and the stillness that really creates a container to allow that. So just going through more of the rooms here. They all have these beautiful little, adobe fireplaces. very rustic. We kept the original of everything, the floor, the brick floor, but yet still warm touches. I love the designing. Selena, you did a lot of that designing in these rooms, didn't you?
I did. It's one of my closet passions. I love to remodel. I love to decorate. I love to, make. I used to own a bed and breakfast for horses and their people in Arizona. And so and that was a really natural thing for me to just think about what little touches made a difference for
You were truly uniquely qualified to do this.
yeah.
Upgrade this center. This is one of my favorite rooms. This is in the main lodge. Yeah, above the kitchen dining area, there are rooms, and there's also some on the ground floor as well. And the door that you can see on the right also is a private balcony that you can go out, and it overlooks a beautiful courtyard. Um, so again, every room is just unique. And I have to say, because I know everybody, this is probably a big thing, but this is a big thing for me. The beds are really comfortable. You hate to go to a hotel or somewhere and the beds are hard or too soft or whatever. These are amazing. And spine has been a thing that, I've worked with. I had some really intense pain issues when I started Qigong. And I remember the first time I went, I was thinking, it's always an anxiety. When you've got back pain, it's like, oh my God, am I going to be able to sleep on the bed? And yes, it was amazing. I actually got one of the mattresses and I have it in my house. No kidding, in my guest room.
Mhm.
All right. So the kiva. Go ahead, Selena.
Yeah, the kiva is kind of where all the magic happens. The kiva is a round building, half above the ground, half below the earth. In that is our practice room where the presentations happen. When we do our live streams from the kiva, this is what you see. This is where we start in the morning and end our nights. And it's a sacred space designed around sacred geometry, and you just have to experience it to know how magical it is.
Okay, wait. I thought maybe you had a picture of the ceiling. I just want to point out, if you can see here on this picture, the ceiling, there's kind of a glow here in the corner of the top. There's a window in the ceiling that you can see the sky while you're in the ground. It's really a powerful place connecting heaven and earth, really through the architecture. And in the evenings, we will have normally a healing session where we roll out. We've got yoga mats and we've got the little safus. I never say it right.
You got it.
I got it. So, we got chairs, we got lots of things that we move them around. We open up the floor to do practice. We roll out our yoga mats and have some blankets and things. And we all lie down on the floor in the kiva, looking up at this amazing ceiling and sky. And Master Mingtong does a healing session. And I don't know how many people have experienced his healing sessions, but yeah, they're really, really powerful. And that's one of the things that's really hard to replicate online. We do our best, but the magic of all being in the room and that space, that container in the kiva is a very special container. So yeah. And this artwork on the side, beautiful. Just when you get there, there's going to be so much to explore. Beautiful contributions to the center. And the dome. Go ahead, Selena. Tell us about the dome.
In 2018, I think, we put up the dome for a special event that had several hundred people, 300 or maybe 400 people. And the dome has become a favorite of everybody's. A couple of stages in there. Master Mingtong always has light shows in there. And we only get to use it in the fall and, in the fall, really. It's too cold in the winter and too hot in the summer, but it's an amazing place to be. And twice the top is blown off. So every year when we put a new top on, it's a brand new building all over again. So it's a fun place for us to have special events for large gatherings. Kitchen. We have an amazing kitchen team. Oh my gosh, we are so blessed that cooks 3 meals a day every retreat day and has snacks in between and serves people with all sorts of dietary needs all in the same meal and the same day. And anyway, it's an amazing food.
Yeah, this is the one thing that we really can't duplicate at an online retreat. You no longer have to cook. So, we get up in the morning, maybe go for a walk around the property, maybe have a short practice, and then we have breakfast together in the main lodge. And the flow of the day, then we go back for teaching, practice activities, and we come back for lunch and again for dinner. And here's the dining hall. So we've got a beautiful indoor space for dining. And let's see, do we have a picture of the courtyard yeah. So this is just such a lovely space. This is where the tables are. I don't know if we've got a picture that overlooks a big yard area. No, that's not there. That's okay. And so you can take your table, or not your table. We'll have tables out there, and you have chairs. And then over to the right, we have a pond area. I'm sure we've got pictures of that coming up here. But one of the really fun things that we do during retreat is what we call mindful eating. So we enter into a space where everything is practice. And even our time of eating and being together is Qigong practice. And so sometimes when we are after in retreat for a couple of days, Master Mingtong might put us in silence, what he calls golden silence. And so there's lots of space where you can go around the property and take your meal and enjoy your meal and practice mindful eating out in nature. So it's really beautiful. All right, the cottonwood deck. This is a cool little spot. Another favorite little corner of mine. You want to talk about this behind?
Oh, sure. Yeah, this space has gone through several lifetimes, and I think it looks different than that again, even now. But it's underneath this big cottonwood tree, which, as you may or may not know, I have an apartment at the Chi Center, and this is the cottonwood tree that graces my front door. So it's a special little corner for me. Yeah, this is a fun picture. We, with a good story. We have spent a lot of time conditioning the land to grow our own organic food, and we fight with the critters that also like to eat all the tender shoots of all the greens that we plant. And so every year we're determined that we're going to keep them out, and every year the wild nature wins. So again, we haven't given up. We may do a greenhouse or something instead, but we do have the intention of having, but that said, we do source as much as we can that is organic and local, and we're very mindful of the food that we put in our bodies.
The office.
Yeah, small building. The office has an even smaller office space now, and we've turned this into a meeting space as well. It's kind of right
Yeah, so this is a place that if the weather is inclement, maybe raining, or which doesn't happen very often, and we break into small groups, we can kind of scatter around the property in various locations, and this is one of the spaces that we might use. So during retreat, one of the practices that we do is small group time. And so Master Mingtong will give us a topic to discuss and focus on and break us into groups. And, some people might stay in the kiva, some people might go to the office, some people might go over to the pond area. Let's see, do you have a courtyard picture in here? Oh, in the staff meeting room. Yeah. And this is just a wonderful time to connect and share very personally with one another. We do that in our online retreats, and it's really wonderful to be able to do it in person out in nature or around the property. It's very special. So you got a story about the staff meeting room?
Oh, it's a multi-purpose room. It doesn't always have to be the staff that meets in there, but
Yeah.
it is a smaller room. I think about 10 people can fit in there maximum. And this is the conference room Sarah was sharing about, where sometimes we can have small group space or time in those spaces.
Oh, there's the courtyard.
Here's the courtyard, yeah. This is fun. This is in between the Serenity Center and the Pueblo House. And it's a courtyard where we often will have fires and burn wood and ceremonies and tell stories. And oh, some of my favorite memories are us sitting out there in the dark with someone telling a joke or a story or something.
Yeah. So
Sarah? Yeah, Sarah?
this is such a beautiful place. I love this place. I remember when we were doing our certification for teachers, Master Mingtong had us all come here under the stars, and we did standing meditation. So this is, you can always throughout the day during break times just go and practice wherever you want. And this is a powerful place. It's a big giant square. And so it's completely enclosed by the walls, as you see, it goes all the way around, but yet it's completely open to the sky, the whole space, and so beautiful. So it's a wonderful place to be really any time of day to just journal, meditate, or do practice. Or it's a safe place to have a fire because there's no trees around. Yeah, that's probably going to be hard this year because it has been so dry here in Colorado and also New Mexico. We probably will have a ban, I imagine, on fires at the time. Here we go.
Yeah, the pond. You hear us talk about the pond a lot. In New Mexico, water is very precious, and we have this beautiful pond. Although most people, when they arrive, say it's more like the size of a lake. It's not a pond, Selena. So anyway, it's deep enough to swim in. We have thousands of koi fish in it. And this looks like this was a day when some ducks joined us.
I have never seen ducks on the pond. That always amazes me. I'm like, how did they get a picture of ducks? I love ducks.
They migrate, I think, and that was one day they were there.
They happened to be passing through. Yeah, wonderful. And you see there's a little boat. Master Mingtong loves the floaty toys. And so if you do come in the summer, you're going to want to bring your swimming suit. Just not that you might get in the pond, but you might want to go float on one of the rafts or just enjoy the sunshine. There's another view of a sitting area next to the pond. Again, remember I mentioned for our golden silence or mindful eating, a lot of times we will kind of scatter around these areas, lots of places to sit and enjoy the space. Or if you want to do small group conversations, lots of beautiful places for that around the property. This is kind of cool. You know, when I've got teenagers, and of course, when he came to the property, the first place he wanted to go was here. Ooh, and a ruin.
Yeah, a ruin. Yeah, right in the middle of the campus is this very old log building that has no purpose other than to look cool and ancient and like the Old West. And I don't know, it has a big history behind it. I think it was a bar at some point. I think it was also the courthouse at some point. So, it has been very interesting. We could make up a lot of stories around it, and probably no one could verify that they were true or false. Anyway, but it's fun to know.
There's some graffiti in there. There's little stories on the walls. Oh, the old writings. Okay.
The sacredness of the land is really profound in so many ways. We know that there have been generations of beings that have lived on this property way before there were buildings. And so anyway, oftentimes we will do some ceremony. This was a water wheel that was done for a specific event that was at the Chi Center. And
I don't know that this is still here. I think the land.
It
has
is there,
transformed.
but the grass has grown up around all of the little rocks, so it's hard to
Oh,
distinguish.
okay. Yeah.
Still there.
This is still there.
We actually have two labyrinths up on the hill. This is the one that's a little bit easier to see and to use. It's a Chartres Cathedral style labyrinth, and this was one day when we had an amazing energetic ceremony there.
Yeah. So again, these are places that you can go and walk, meditate, journal. Sometimes Master Mingtong will give us an assignment to go out into nature and, focus on a particular topic and journal about it, or just do walking meditation around the property. And sometimes we've done practice up here. If you come up for the morning or the evening, you can see the sunrise and the sunset. I know one day somebody was sharing a story. They were doing practice and the sun was going down and the moon was coming up. It's kind of a beautiful spot on the property to see that horizon all around.
I think we're coming towards the end here. Just wanted to give you another experience of all the different features that are here if you've not been to the property, or just a stroll down memory lane if you have been. There's fountains around many of the buildings, little ones like this, the meditation ponds. Again, just good for some quiet time or journaling or doing an exercise that Master Ming Tong may have given the group to do.
Yeah, and this is the courtyard that's behind the kitchen. So as I was mentioning, there were tables outside, and then it opens up into this big yard space that's enclosed with this beautiful adobe wall. And so,
The next picture.
are we going to see the whole?
Well,
Here it is. I love that space.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space. Yeah. Trees are also rare, deciduous trees in New Mexico, so we are really lucky to have the water and the trees there on the property. It makes it definitely feel like a place within the place of the land of enchantment.
Yeah. And so one of the rooms, I think the one that I kind of pointed out was my favorite room. The patio overlooks this yard, this courtyard. And just a fun story, kind of in the middle of the park here, there's an apple tree that has been graced with the mark of one of our local bears. They come and help themselves, and he's left his mark on the tree. And it's just kind of a powerful presence, I feel. Bears, I remember talking to grandmother Flor de Mayo, and she was there with some of her teachers for an event. She's the Mayan grandmother that lives not too far from the property, sharing that bears are medicine spirit animals about healing. And so, I don't know, I just feel like the energy of the park carries that in a special way with the bear presence. So yes, we have lots of animals on our property. This is out in the wild. It's very rustic. In a way, it's a little bit glamping environment. There's a lot of walking, there's a lot of outdoor space, a lot of outdoor interaction, and you can come across any type of animal that you can imagine that lives in New Mexico. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is fun. So this was what the Kuan Yin garden looked like a few years back. It's right in front of the kiva. You can see to the left there, the roundish building with the little lights on top. That's the kiva. You go down a few steps to go into the kiva. To the right, behind the trees, you can see some steps going kind of up the grade to go to some of the rooms. And then the next picture is how we are transforming that same space with a new Kuan Yin statue. That is, the landscaping in this photo has come a long way since this picture. Sarah was instrumental in getting the 12-foot Kuan Yin in place without breaking her. And so anyway, the landscaping is now happening around it. It's looking quite beautiful.
Yeah, during the lockdown, I think so many of us really started cultivating our space. a lot of us here at home maybe doing some upgrades on our houses, on our gardens, and no different at the Chi Center. I mean, even though we've showed you all these pictures, a lot of this has still been transformed even since these photos were taken. But these are still there. The grandmother trees don't change much.
Yeah, the grandmother trees, it depends on which expert you speak with, but are anywhere from 300 to 700 years old, and they're cottonwoods. And cottonwoods generally, when in the wild, live to be about 60 years old. So these are very special trees. The energy is amazing. The bark on them, the crags and the cracks and stuff on them is just like phenomenal. If you're a tree person, this is a must see.
Yeah, must touch.
Yeah, see, feel by experience.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times we will do a walking meditation and go down to the trees and spend some time there. And so
Yes.
here, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, so this is a different angle of the pond with some of the lights just as the sun is setting. And again, this is a great place for walking meditations, or there's lots of places to sit around the pond. You don't have to be in a floaty to enjoy the pond. There's a new deck. I don't think I have a really great picture of here
Oh, okay.
that we can talk about, but it's
No.
beautiful.
All right. So this is a great kind of view. Remember, I was talking about the decks that the rooms open up to. Well, this is the Pueblo area, right? And overlooking the kiva. So behind the pine tree, that big circular building is actually the roof of the kiva. Oh, there's a nice upgrade that Master Mingtong did. He discovered his passion is rock working this past year in landscaping and just really connecting with nature. And he built this beautiful waterfall next to the pond that we were just looking at with the sunset. And this is the entrance to the main lodge. Beautiful, just little detail with the rocks, the flowers. Oh, did I skip two? Something happened. Nope, it looked like it jumped. Oh, that's weird.
Don't know how that works.
That was a subliminal message of some of the artwork that we have. That from the dining hall, I think that artwork was. Yeah, there's a corner of the deck.
Yeah, I think there is one picture here. We're almost at the end.
Yeah. So another thing that's really cool. Okay, you can see the pink flamingo floaty there off in the distance. Master Mingtong's favorite. Another thing that's really wonderful is, doing a practice around the pond. I know there was a picture somewhere I saw where, everybody was kind of spaced around the pond, and maybe we do meditation, standing meditation or something in the pond area. Very powerful energy in this space. I've got lots of stories of my own personal downloading, just meditating around this really beautiful place. Oh, and there's the Master Mingtong and our master rocksmith, landscaper. Yeah.
Yeah, this is during the construction of that beautiful waterfall that you saw a moment ago. And he was just so, I think right before I shot this picture, I had remarked at how many more muscles he had than he had been having. So he feels particularly buff in that moment. And we took this photo of him.
There it is. That's the one that flashed, and then there it's back. Some beautiful. Oh no, that's in the entrance of the kiva, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Remember? Yeah.
There's a picture of the deck with the red chairs from a distance.
Yeah, over here. Yeah. Yeah, so it's called what, an infinity deck? Mm-hmm. Where, so there's no guardrail. You just are like on the edge of a dock, looking out over the water. So it's really a beautiful space. Openness, spaciousness is really the theme, throughout the entire property in a way. So what a place to unwind. What a place to connect. And, as you know, through our practices here together, wisdom healing Qigong begins always with connecting mind, body, connecting with the elements, source energy. And being there on the land is a really unique energetic space to experience that dimension of this practice in a really powerful way. So I think, is that the end of our slideshow? Yep. Okay. I'll stop with my screen share. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, wonderful. So let's see. I think next we're just going to let you know where you can find out more information about the retreats, and if you're interested in signing up and what the different events are. As I've mentioned previously, we've got several different retreats here this year that we're offering.
I know several of you probably have questions, and so we'll go through this relatively quickly. But Steph, if you can scroll down just to the date section, which is right here. Yeah, here we go. So let's just talk about this really quick. We have all of our retreats this year are 10-day retreats. We have 2 10-day retreats in the summer and then 3 happening in the fall. The dates are here. If you go to qicenter.com/retreat, you can see it and scroll through it at your leisure. But we wanted to just sort of talk about the 5 different retreats that we're offering this year so that and give you a little headline on each one so that you can have a sense as to how they're different or how they're similar to each other. So Sarah, I will let you talk about the details, but I'll just name them and talk about them from a high level. In the summer, we've got a physical and emotional healing intensive retreat. Now, this is our standard type of retreat that Master Mingtong has done for well over 20 years, based on the format that he learned and embodied at the Medicineless Qigong Hospital in China. And so it walks us through practice in the morning, breakfast, a little bit of answer questions and teaching, and a break, and then lunch, and then another break. And then, so there's a real rhythm to the day, and sound healing and a break, and teaching and questions and a break. And we have stretched this out to 10 days this year so that we can really go deep and also build in more time for integration, enjoying the property, etc. So this first retreat is it's our signature retreat that is always super, super popular. July 5th through the 14th is an intensive that will focus pretty much on the basics that I just described, and it will add in the dimension of pure consciousness practices. Then in the fall, we have another 10-day retreat that is very similar to the signature retreat. It is the signature retreat that I described for the summer. And in this retreat, we'll be focusing on raising your energy, raising the frequency and vibration where you live, where you breathe from, where you heal from, and transform your vitality and emotional well-being. And then there'll be a few-day break. Oftentimes, people stay for multiple retreats, especially if they're having significant challenges or traveling from long distances. So we will have a break of about 3 days in between these retreats so that you can integrate, you can enjoy the land, and if you like, so you can also travel the 25 miles into Santa Fe and get to experience the local culture and beauty and art in Santa Fe, which is very special. So the second retreat in the fall is another healing and awakening retreat. So there is pure consciousness practices also focused on during that time. And this retreat is entitled Open Your Heart to Love and Your Soul to Truth. So this is really integration of mind, body, heart, and soul. And the final retreat, third retreat in the fall, is an advanced practices retreat that will be for advanced practitioners of the pure consciousness segment of wisdom healing Qigong. And there are some prerequisites. You will need to have been in our online program of pure consciousness so that you have a very good foundation in which to start the practice, so we can go super deep in the fall. The last thing before I turn over to Sarah that I want to mention is the green button here. We do have a team, two amazing teachers, Linda Smith and Otis Woolen, who schedule time to answer your questions. And if you want to schedule a time for a private one-on-one conversation with them about the retreat, how does it work? Will it work for me? I have some special considerations. They can answer all of those questions for you. So again, if you go to the website page, just click that button. You can find a time that works for you and schedule that. Now, I will encourage you to do that soon. They're standing by now to make sure that they've got their schedules open for anybody who has those questions, because we know people will want to get in on the early bird pricing that goes away today at midnight. Okay, Sarah, anything else you want to talk about with regard to the retreat and the practices, or anything in particular?
I think you did an amazing job, and I covered a lot of it, kind of the flow as we went through the photos. So, one of the things I think is important to always keep in mind, just like with our flow here in Chi TV, with our practices, maybe we do Awaken Vitality several times throughout the month. And it's always the same and it's always different. So again, our purpose of retreat, our purpose of doing the practice, a lot of times, people can approach these events with two mindsets. One is, what am I going to learn? Like informational. And I really encourage you, you're always going to learn something new. You're always going to have new insights. You're always going to go deeper. And Master Mingtong loves and is a master at teaching to the field that shows up. And so a lot of times the exact content and what will come to the surface will really depend on who's there in retreat and what you are needing to receive in the moment. And so that's one reason it's always new, is because we always have a new mix of people. And, I remember one time I was in the middle of retreat and I had this image just come into my mind of everyone was in this cauldron of alchemy and transformation. And as we're there together, it was like sending off signals and electrical transformation for all the different people. And there's energetically, that's really what's happening. We're doing Awaken Vitality. It's the same practice, but you're going to have a different experience of it, different focuses. We're going to have, conversations and teachings that are going to focus in different ways on these practices. Okay. At the Medicineless Hospital in China, they would do the same practice every day, all day long. That's really powerful, because the purpose is not about learning information. The purpose is transforming the energetic stuff. Somebody's doing thumbs up. The energetic stuff that's in us. Okay. And so we're creating that place where we're allowing that to happen. And the practices, I like to think of the practices never really ending in a way. We are doing moving meditation. We might be doing walking meditation, eating meditation, and even the conversations, being present to one another in that space is a form of meditation, a form of deep mindful connecting. And so that's really what, even though each retreat is going to have a slightly different focus, our purpose is similar. It's, again, not about, you're going to learn information, but that's not why you're there. You're there to create this space within yourself, to give yourself, mind, body time to unwind the tensions that are creating either dis-ease in your own mind body system or ultimately disease, a diagnosis, whatever it is. And that's why it doesn't really matter what your diagnosis is, what you come with, presenting symptoms or whatever, because what we're doing transforms. It's the same practice and it's going to transform no matter what is going on in your system. It's really amazing. It's very simple. That's one of the things I love about it. It's very simple. You're going inwardly to allow that healing, being present in that energetic field to happen. So that's what all I have to add there.
You're always so articulate. Thank you, Sarah. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's an experience. I mean, I'm just sharing from my experience. I've been to so many retreats with Master Mingtong, and I go again and again because they're powerful, and I'm still alive and I'm still working on stuff. That's the path of our life, right? It never goes away. So let's go to questions now. I see Annie, you've got your hand up. So let me enable it. So go ahead, see if you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, thank you, Sarah. I'm sorry to kind of force my way in. I've got a class at 6 o'clock I need to attend to, UK time. What I can gather, and I lost you froze when I went to the kitchen to do supper, put supper on. So what I can gather is that and I know we've had a conversation in email, is that the June-July retreats are pretty similar to the October-November, the healing ones. So they're pretty interchangeable. Yeah. Okay, so I can't get to you. I would love to come, maybe another year, but this year I'm going to have to do them online. So my question was, you said something in my email about getting the early bird booking, but if I'm doing it online, that's only coming in tomorrow, isn't it? I think we're getting an email tomorrow.
That's a Selena one.
That's a Selena question. Don't worry about missing anything if you're only coming online. Yeah, you're not going to miss anything. The early bird pricing is just for the in-person retreat.
Perfect.
And you'll be totally safe.
Fantastic. Okay, so my probably last question then is, Sarah, I was talking to you about doing the pure consciousness in my email, and Selena, I've just started this year with your program. I've been doing Qigong and meditation and things for many years, but it's not yours, and I'm doing it, beginner mind, and loving it, absolutely. I would very much, I did the mini PC retreat just last month, or beginning of this month, whenever. It was absolutely fabulous. And I understand that my 2-month program will come into my level 1 in July. So I'll have completed that as well. So may I do the pure consciousness at the end of the year as well? So I would do all 3 of those retreats following on each other. Can I do that?
Oh, okay. So you want to come in the fall for all 3 retreats and stay on for the pure consciousness, and your experiences. You did the 5-day, and you will also have completed the 2-month segment in the course.
And I'm doing that as my 3-month main focus now as well.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Yeah.
I would expect that in that circumstance, Master Mingtong would probably say yes. Selena, let me know. And normally I think he has mentioned that he would like people to take what used to be the 6-month course in our online course portal, but that won't open up in your course until that's a level 200. So you've got to do the 2 months, because what we did was it's a 6-month. we put it into 4. So you've got 2 months this level 100 and then 4 months in the next level 200. So that's how that flows. And we probably would need to verify this with Master Mingtong to see. Okay.
So I'll keep in touch with you and email. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's brilliant.
But I realize, coming from England, and you're doing everything you can to have that foundation, and you will have been practicing the pure consciousness practices that you've got from the 5-day retreat through this whole time. And I think that's one of his bigger picture ideas, is that people have the foundation built of their capacity, that they've been practicing this over time. And it's not like, okay, I did a 7-day retreat and now I'm ready to go, right? Okay, so you'll have a little bit of depth to your experience with it. So again, we'll need to check with him because it might be more advanced even than that, but I don't know. He might make an exception considering you'll be there for all 30 days, because that's the other thing. Let me just say, when he has 10-day retreats flowing, they build on each other, and there's a cohesiveness, and the foundation that you're getting from those 2 10-day experiences also will prepare you for the last 10 days. So he may feel that that's okay, but we do need to check with him to verify.
Fantastic. I'll verify with you before I book it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So exciting. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. I think Anne Leslie, did you just sign up?
And she left. It looks like she's left the meeting. Okay. She said, I'm going to go to the retreat website. So now, just so you know, while you're here on Zoom with us, you can still open up the website and still be here on Zoom with us. You don't have to leave the meeting to go to the website. Just open up a tab, in your browser, and you can go to it. Let's see. Do we have some more questions in chat?
Well, Anne asked a question that I'll just speak to a little bit. She asked the question about COVID policies, and there's several sentences on the page, a couple of places explaining what our decision is on COVID policies. Of course, we'll be our protocols for cleaning and all of that will be above those standards. And we have elected this year to invite people to come if they feel confident in their capacity and their well-being to be there without us requiring vaccinations from everyone and wearing masks, etc. Yeah, thank you.
I see people clapping thumbs up.
Yeah, it's been such a sticky question, and we really tried to walk this carefully. And so, because the risks are reduced somewhat, we hope this year, and because not everyone in our community is eligible for any kind of vaccination or just chooses not to, it's not right for them, we've tried to take one step at a time here. So all of that is outlined on the sales page.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, and we got one more question in here. Will there be options for ride sharing from the airport with others traveling to retreat? It's always a tricky question.
Yes is the short answer. And we don't necessarily coordinate that, but we can kind of help put people in touch who are traveling together, because it is from the Albuquerque airport, it's about an hour and 10 minutes. And so if you don't want to rent a car, which most people choose not to, there are Ubers and taxis and Lyft drivers that will bring you right to the center. And we can help people coordinate to share.
All right. So any other questions?
Well, Ivanisha just says it seems impossible to go to the US when not vaccinated. I thought about going to Portugal from the US last year, and same kind of, oh, the complexities just made it too challenging to go. So I get it. And hopefully this year will be behind us and we will have a little more freedom next year as well.
Yeah. I think one of the things to kind of keep in mind is, if you're not comfortable being in a space with others, because we will be following whatever, is the requirement at the time. And right now there's no requirement for masking. And it would be difficult for people to be having to wear a mask all the time. If you want to, you certainly can, but we won't be requiring that of the participants. And we want you to know that if you aren't comfortable, or because international just makes it not doable, this is why we are also offering them online. I'll be there in the kiva streaming live from the back. I just showed the picture that we have me and Master Mingtong in the back of the room in front of all the cameras or the screens streaming. And it's really fun streaming. When we started online, it was actually there in the kiva. There was a live event going on, and we streamed it to you. So it was real fun because we could have a big giant screen. We can put you all in gallery and you can see all the people in the room and they can see you. And so, and so far as we can, we have you there for as much of it as possible. We can't replicate everything. We can't make your meals. And we can't give you the Milky Way, and the pond and all of that magic of being there. But for as much as possible, we really do try to give you an experience of connecting through the online event. So yeah, international travel is still going to be hard, and we acknowledge that. We realize that. And so we'll always continue to offer that simultaneously. Okay, here's a really good question. Can you talk about handicap issues?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Selena, like walking and stairs and all of that. Yeah.
Yes, I can do that. We have many rooms that are first floor rooms, and we have, I would say, a good 15 to 25% of our folks have some mobility challenges. So we are very well versed at how to manage the campus, how to get people in and out of rooms, etc. So I'm assuming it's mobility questions that were behind the question. And Master Mingtong is doing some new paths this year, and he will either be putting hard surfaces instead of just gravel on key ones to get people around key places in the property, or he's going to find a golf cart so that the issues are not quite so challenging, or both. So we're definitely upgrading that this year as well. Meals, mobility, if you walk with a cane or a walker or in a wheelchair, we have the capacity to make sure that you get your meals served to you. Normally, people go through a line and choose what it is that they want, but we have someone to take care of those needs. So and then we do have we have some rooms that have grab bars in the bathrooms. Not all of our bathrooms are set up that way. But when you register, we ask these kinds of questions. We ask, what are your mobility challenges? What are your dietary needs? And then you let us know, and we do our best to make sure that everyone is covered in the ways that they need to be, so you're all comfortable.
Gail, did you want to unmute and ask anything more specific, or did that answer your question? You should be able to unmute.
That answered everything. Good. I knew you would.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wonderful, Gail. Great.
Good.
Yeah. And that's why we have Linda and Otis there to help make sure we clearly understand your needs and make sure that you're in a room where those can be met. So, and yeah, as you've seen, there's a lot of different options as far as rooms. Some of them there's lots of stairs, and some of them there's no stairs. So when we get that information from you, it's really helps us to know what room we can put everyone in. So yeah. All right. Any other questions? If you want to just raise your hand, go ahead.
Yeah, Sarah, I'm watching our internal messaging system, and there's lots and lots of questions coming in. So I want to share with you a couple of ideas, and so we can wrap up this meeting. If you have questions, we have a live chat option that is open today until 5 p.m. So that's manned by or womaned by Fei, who is on live chat right now. And then I'll be supporting her with any questions that come up that she can answer. So if you're at qicenter.com/retreat on that page, you look for a little chat button. I think it's blue at the bottom right, and we can actually chat with you live all day today. Also on that same page is the link to book a conversation with Linda or Otis, and if they have time today, you can definitely book your conversation with them today and get more questions answered. And then because I'm watching over here a different kind of chat messaging system from our team, I'm going to go out on a limb and extend early bird pricing one more day through tomorrow so that we can also give you more time to connect with Linda and Otis and get on their calendars if you need to. And Sarah, I'm going to suggest that we do another question and answer session tomorrow in the evening at 5 o'clock. So for people who couldn't make it today because it was daytime and they had other commitments, I'll announce this in email. So tomorrow also at 5, we'll do another question and answer session, maybe talk a little bit more in depth about specifics about the retreat for people who weren't able to be here. But for you, those of you here, that just means you have one extra day to register for the retreat at the early bird prices. So, and let me just speak to this for a moment. What it means to register for the retreat is we're handling a little bit differently this year than in years past. We're just asking you to make a deposit at this point in time. And then once we get closer to the retreat timeline, we will be taking the rest of your payments. And if you need payment plans, we can work with you on that. If you need to apply for a partial scholarship, we can work with you on that as well. So again, if you're ready to decide today, that's wonderful. But if you have more questions or that comes up before tomorrow at midnight, Pacific time, let's make it Pacific time, midnight tomorrow, then you can still capture that early bird savings through that time. And I hope you can put this on your calendar for tomorrow, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. Got it. So we have one more question here. How many people can you accommodate? And let's talk about both the minimum and the maximum.
Yeah, okay, good point. Our retreat center, when there's no COVID concerns, we will group people together in roommates. We're not doing that this year. This year, we are doing single occupancy in each room, except for if you're traveling with a companion, a spouse, your sister, your son who lives with you, whatever that is, and you want to stay in the same room, we will allow that. But so that makes our occupancy go down quite a bit. So I believe our total number of rooms is 35. So if everyone was in a separate room, we would have a maximum of 35, but we know we will have some couples. And so it'll be under 40, I'm relatively sure, for the maximum. Now the minimum, in order for us to just open the doors and have our team there and cooks and the housekeepers and all of that, our minimum is probably going to be in the neighborhood of 25. So if we don't get enough registrations for any one retreat, then we may have to move those people who've registered if the schedule works to a different retreat. So right now, the fall retreats are filling up. So those dates I'm 99% sure will be good. Summer's a little different, so we'll see what happens this week, if any of those dates or timelines need to change.
Okay, I think we've answered all the questions for today. Thanks for staying on with us. We really appreciate you spending the time with us and hearing all this information. Yeah, you're welcome. It's always so fun to be here with you all. And I'm just going to put it in gallery just to say goodbye. It's like most of you are off camera at the moment. So again, if you know anyone who's interested, couldn't make it today, has questions, tell them to come tomorrow, 5 o'clock, same channel, same location, same Zoom, whatever you want to call it. So the easy way to get in, we'll keep that link, that short link. So just qcenter.com/May 10. We'll just
I'll
keep it the
probably
same.
change it to May 11th so it doesn't confuse everybody. But it's the TTV link. But anyway,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
cool.
All right, so howla, just send you all on your way for a blessed day full of chi-ful energy. I love how somebody said once, keep your chi up. Howla, howla, howla. All right, well, hopefully we'll see you in person very soon.